Welcome. Today we're going to be discussing the technique grasp of death, also known as the pincher. It was renamed from the pincher to grasp of death in the early 80s with the advent of the Infinite Insight series, but prior to that it was known as the pincher, but now it's called grasp of death. Just keep that in mind. So we're going to go over its execution, some of the things you should know about its execution, some of the things that can happen, and how to compensate for those during that execution. So let's talk about the ideal phase of the attack. The ideal phase of the attack is off of a grab. And one thing you should note is the fact that I just bent over for this person. You would say that is not very practical. Keep in mind that, potentially speaking, he could be coming up behind me and just grabbing me from behind like that, or we could be in some sort of tussle and he grabbed me like that. Either way, you could get into that position. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to give it to him just to start, to make this very easy for the ideal phase to demonstrate it for you. But just keep in mind, getting into it can be done through a number of different ways. So, first thing you have to worry about is being choked here. You could either choke to the side of the head, or side of the neck, or to the throat itself. What we want to do is we want to turn our head and tuck our chin into our shoulder if we can, to alleviate the potential choke from the front, which will give us just a little bit more time than the pressure onto the side. Keep in mind, we're going to be doing other things at this point. Also, the next thing you're going to be doing is cranking me forward a little bit, so I want to take advantage of that too by turning my head. So if you notice, the idea here is to get my chin on the inside of his wrist. Now, what's happening with this left hand? The ideal phase, the reason it was called a pincher, is because you're going into the nerves right there in the back of the knee, and that's going to divert his attention from his arm to his knee. There's an alternate way to do it that is not part of the ideal phase. We'll just discuss it. It is a vertical ridge hand into the groin. Either way would work perfectly fine. I find it a little bit difficult to get to that groin. This is much easier to pinch and grab and just divert their attention. Keep in mind, it's not a major, it is a minor with this pinch, and it's done simultaneously with the head. It's just a split-second diversion from what's going on with the arm. Okay? So once we've done this, we then also bring our right hand up simultaneously to grab their wrist for the next maneuver. So let's turn sideways so that you can see this. So I've gotten to this point. What I do not want to do is lose contact with his opponent and come over like this. What I want to do is slide up their body and then get to the point where we're on their shoulder. So let's back up this way a little bit so they can see it. So we're going to come from here up and put our elbow into their back this way and onto their shoulder. Because what I don't want to do is just try and pull their hand off with my right arm alone, because it's one-to-one and they could be much stronger than me. So what I want to do is take this left arm and I want to 2-to-1, like that. So that's what you want to think, is that I have my two arms applying against his one arm, not one arm to one arm, okay? So that's the general idea. So once we get to this point, we're going to be doing that push and pull, which will get him to step forward. And notice what just happened with his hand. That's what I want to happen. I want his hand on the ground. As I begin to push forward, I can then slide from the shoulder to upper shoulder or even onto the elbow. It doesn't really matter as long as you stay above the elbow so he can't bend it. Okay? Once we're there, we then release with our right hand and punch to the back top of the neck, not the head. And if he does happen to turn his face, you can potentially hit to the back of the jaw or the jaw itself. Punch, cross out, and cover. Okay? One more time run through. He grabs, turn head, tuck the chin, grab the wrist, pinch, all simultaneously. Slide up, contouring, get onto the shoulder, step forward, push, pull with both left and right. You can then slide this as needed, punch to the back of the neck, cross out, and cover. One more time so that you can see it slightly faster without any explanation. Up. Hope this video helps you. Thank you very much.